And for yielding. Madam Speaker, this is clearly one of the most important votes that many of us will cast in our congressional careers. We are all concerned about the state of our economy. We are all concerned about the state of our capital markets. What has infected Wall Street may soon reach Main Street. Inaction has never been an option, but again, the Paulson plan should never have been our only option. I fear other options, Madam Speaker, have never been considered seriously in the body. Although I certainly want to congratulate our ranking member, Spencer Baucus, our Republican leadership, Eric Cantor of Virginia, Paul Ryan of Wisconsin, for the work they've done to improve this bill. This is clearly a better bill, Madam Speaker, than it was a week ago. But that's not the relevant test. The relevant test is, when you look at the good in the bill, when you look at the bad in the bill, does it take America in a direction that you believe America should go? By that test, Madam Speaker, I will vote no on this legislation. I fear this legislation before us is fraught with unintended consequences. I fear that ultimately it may not work. I fear that it is too much bailout and not enough workout. I fear that taxpayers may end up inheriting the mother of all debts. Now, some have come to the House floor and say, well, the taxpayer is going to make money on this. You know what, Madam Speaker? They may be right. I can tell you this much, Madam Speaker, as history as our guide, the taxpayer lost $200 billion on the S&L bailout. I can raid my neighbor's college fund for his children, go put it on a roulette table in Las Vegas. Maybe I'll triple his money for him, but you know what, Madam Speaker? It's not a risk my neighbor voluntarily assumed. I fear that under this plan, ultimately the federal government will become the guarantor of last resort, and Madam Speaker, that does put us on the slippery slope to socialism. If you lose your ability to fail, soon you will lose your ability to succeed. And that's why, Madam Speaker, House conservatives have put forth an alternative plan. And we are happy to work on it today, all next week. As important as it is to act quickly, it is more important to act rightly. We would hope this plan would get serious consideration. And Madam Speaker, once it does, we hope that we can go on, that we can address the taxpayer crisis. As our fellow citizens are looking at the largest tax increase in American history, the spending crisis of an out-of-control Congress, the energy crisis, where we see too many of our fellow citizens struggling to pay their bills. Madam Speaker, as we look at this legislation, and I respect all, regardless of what side they come down on, if in doubt, err on the side of freedom.
Gentleman from Massachusetts.